Okay guys, this is probably going to be one of the most important topics that we ever talk about on this channel, and that is going to be why it is important to get outside in the morning and see the sunrise. If you guys haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you get notifications. As things go, we put this content out on things like social media and email even, but it doesn't always reach the end user, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and you've hit the notification bell. That way you always get a notification as soon as we release new content. What I want to quickly preface about this video is this video should not be something that convinces you in order to go and get outside and see a sunrise. It should reinforce that decision that you've already made, because we don't actually understand enough about sunlight and how it interacts with our physiology in order to actually give you a full picture. I can't give you every single aspect that you would get from sunlight in this one video. I mean, we will speak about, there's a couple of frequencies of light that I will talk about in this video, but that's, let's talk about vitamin D, for instance. That is 315 nanometers. That is a specific frequency of light that you get from the sun. Now, there's thousands of different frequencies that you get from sunlight in so many, almost unlimited variations or combinations, that there's no ways we can really comprehend, what the effect of sunlight is on the human physiology. So I'll go through some of the specific ones that we do know, but intuitively, it should already make sense to you. You evolved to live under natural light. Sunlight is definitely something you want to get more exposure to, and getting out and seeing a sunrise is something that we see, primal tribes all across the world still do it, and it's a lot of animals still do it as well. It is extremely important for setting your circadian rhythm, which is something that we're going to jump into right now. So this is often a question people say, well, if I don't catch the sunrise, can I still get outside, an hour or two later? And the answer is yes, you obviously can. I mean, the best time to do it is at sunrise, and the next best time is the time that you actually can do it. The problem comes in is that, remember, so the word circadian, circa means around, and dian means day. So a circadian rhythm is any process that follows roughly a day's cycle, a 24-hour cycle. So any single cycle, be that let's say, for example, your cortisol melatonin cycle. What should happen is your cortisol should be higher during the day, and that makes you feel awake and alert. And in the evening, your cortisol should drop and your melatonin levels should go up so that you get a really high quality of sleep. Now, if you're waking up 2 hours after sunrise and you're only getting into bright light at that time, you're delaying that entire cycle by 2 hours. So yes, you can get outside at that time and it's going to have the right type of light in order to wake you up, but the timing is completely off based on where you're living. So you might find that you've got high levels of cortisol into the night, so now it takes you 2 hours longer to fall asleep, or even during the day, you might find in the morning you're extremely groggy because your melatonin, that cycle is also delayed by 2 hours, so you've still got melatonin in your system when you're waking up in the morning. So getting out in the sunrise primarily is about setting your circadian rhythm at the right time. And what I want to jump into quickly now is, the argument of whether you can set your circadian rhythm with artificial lighting versus sunlight. And we're going to talk about a couple of frequencies of light a little bit later on. But the first thing I want to jump into is light intensity. So if you look at your screen here, this is just a couple of measurements of light intensity, which is measured in lux. And you can see low light, literally, you got 50 lux. You can go all the way up to an office. If you're indoors, you're only getting 500 lux. And even in a bright supermarket, you're only going to get up to 1,000 lux light intensity. Now, when you're outside, obviously direct sunlight, in the extreme, in the middle of the day, you're going to get up to 100,000 lux. But even in the really low instances, a rainy, cloudy day, you might not think it's that bright, but it actually is, you're still getting about 10 to 20,000 lux on a cloudy day. So getting outside is going to be your number one source of a bright light. And why this is important, I'm just going to jump into my whiteboard over here. So when we talk about light, and it's important in telling your body, what time of day it is, whether it's day versus night, and setting your circadian rhythm, the biggest thing you need to understand is your brain needs to see a difference between daylight and nighttime. So if I draw a straight line, first of all, to start, so if we call this, let's call this is daytime. So over here, we're going to go AM, and here PM, and then we'll call this nighttime while you're sleeping, and nighttime while you're sleeping over here. So what your brain basically wants to be able to do is to tell the difference between the amount of light that you're getting exposed to here and the amount of light that you're getting exposed to at night, in the evenings especially. So what over here is basically when people are talking about blocking artificial blue light, and that is a great way to create a bigger difference here because now your brain has this, differentiation between the amount of light you're getting at day, the amount of light that you're getting at night. So blocking artificial light at night is a way to reduce this. But if you're someone who gets a lot less sunlight exposure or any bright light exposure, then you're hovering around here. You're not getting that much of a difference, even if you are blocking blue light. I mean, obviously, if you're not blocking blue light and you're getting more light at night, then that's going to be even worse for you. But what you really want to be able to do is get the most light intensity that you can during the day. And, obviously you can't not block artificial blue light at night, but you'll probably be a lot better off and you'll sleep a lot better than someone. If you're getting a ton of light, natural light during the day, you're not going to have to worry as much about artificial light at night. Yes, you still want to block it for health reasons. That bright spike in blue concentration is not going to be good for you, but your brain's still going to have a much bigger difference to tell between daytime and nighttime. And obviously the most optimal result is that you're really blocking artificial light at night. You're getting the most light exposure during the day, and that's when your brain has this big differentiation between daytime and nighttime, because you're getting very bright light exposure from the morning through the day even, and then at nighttime you're blocking artificial light. So then you have this big differentiation. Your brain really can tell and start organizing the processes in your body so that at nighttime, all the things that are meant to happen, muscle recovery, lymphatic drainage of your brain, that is all happening at nighttime, and you're not feeling lethargic in the day because there isn't any melatonin in your system, at least released from your pineal gland, and you've got the right hormones, serotonin, cortisol, which are making you feel nice and awake and alert over here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start talking about some of the specific frequencies of light. So the light intensity is already a big thing. You want to be getting outside in the sunrise. It's the first type of light you should be exposed to because that is the time of day that your circadian rhythm should start. And it's also a lot brighter than any light you're going to be exposed to during the day inside. Now, another type of light that you're going to be exposed to when you see the sunrise is ultraviolet A. It's very uncommon that you'd be exposed to ultraviolet B, the one that makes vitamin D. But ultraviolet A is a longer wavelength than the other types of ultraviolet light, so it is more dominant. You will find that type of light in the mornings. And when that type of light goes through your eyes, that stimulates the conversion of tryptophan into serotonin. Serotonin, many people know it as the feel-good hormone, and it is exactly that. It is going to, put you in a better mood in the morning and make you feel like you have more energy, awake and alert. But it's also really important for nighttime because serotonin is actually the precursor to making melatonin. So when you're out in bright light in the morning and you're getting this ultraviolet A light, your body is going to, first of all, put you in a better mood. You're going to feel more awake and alert, but you're also setting yourself up for a much better quality of sleep that coming night because you'll have those serotonin stores built up. And then in the presence of darkness, when you're blocking artificial light at night, then your body can do that mass conversion of serotonin into melatonin, and that's really going to help your sleep. Moving along the electromagnetic spectrum, so after ultraviolet A light, we will talk about blue light. We've spoken about blue light so much, and everyone talks about blocking artificial blue light, but there is actually a time when blue light is good, and I've actually made a video about that. You can watch I'll leave a link to it in the description below. It's titled, Is Blue Light Actually Bad for You? But basically, natural blue light, especially when it comes from the sun and it's mixed in with red and near-infrared light, that type of blue light is really good for you because it helps to stimulate cortisol, which again, in the right dose, is a good kind of hormone. And that is going to really help you to make you feel awake and alert during the day. Now, you can technically get that from an artificial source in your office, but the big problem, and that'll obviously be discussed further in that blue light video I spoke to you already about, but the big problem is that it doesn't have the matching red and near-infrared light that you would get in nature. It's completely unnatural to be exposed to high spikes of blue light. It's not something we would ever be exposed to before, and this can have some negative consequences on your health as well. The last thing is that at sunrise, you are also getting a really high concentration of red and near-infrared light. So red and near-infrared light is a much longer wavelength of light. That is why when the sun is in the horizon, the shorter wavelengths of light, things like ultraviolet, they don't necessarily we don't get that much concentration of that coming from the sunrise, but you're going to get a lot of the longer wavelengths and a lot of the red and near-infrared light, which is extremely important for stimulating energy within your cells. The mitochondria really feed on this type of light in order to make energy. But it's also a great way that it's going to activate, pigment in your skin. Melanin is activated by red and near-infrared light. So it's basically the way of, your body basically programming for sunlight later in the day. One of the reasons why people usually burn is because they don't get outside and get as much of their skin exposed to sunrise and red and near-infrared light, which helps their bodies to absorb, or their skin, to absorb ultraviolet light and normal light better when it is more harsh and when we have more direct sunlight above our heads. The last thing that I just want to say, and this is nothing to do with specific physiological responses, but getting yourself outside in the sunrise in the morning, it's golden hour. Most people aren't out there. It's a really quiet time. You can do things like meditation, gratitude. It's really a good time for you to just sit down and focus on your goals. Think of what you're trying to achieve in life. And for me, I find I get so much benefit from catching the sunrise in the morning. It just gives me, more than anything, it gives me perspective. When you get outside and you see, something so magnificent and beautiful in nature like a sunrise, for the rest of the day, whatever comes your way, we all have, trials and tribulations that we have during the day, but it just gives you a bit of perspective, and you just realize, something bad might happen. Someone might cut you off in traffic, or, something bad at work might happen, something extremely stressful. And then you just realize there's more important things in life. There's really, there's beautiful things in life, such as a sunrise. And that's not talking about any specific physiological response of making you happy. Just on an awareness level, I think, catching a sunrise every single morning is a great way to really set the tone for your goals and, to give you a bit of a buffer against the crazy lifestyle that most of us live these days. If you have any questions or if you enjoyed the content of this video, please let me know in the comment section below. I have a plan that I'm going to do a future video on how to wake up earlier, because a lot of people say, I can't wake up in order to catch a sunrise. So if you want to see that video a bit sooner, let me know in the comment section below, and then I'll make sure to get on that. If you're someone who struggles to wake up at, the time that sunrise is, because you're really groggy and tired, then I'm going to give you a couple of key tips that you can use in order to help yourself to wake up earlier without an alarm and without a cup of coffee. I hope that you guys make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Make sure that you get those notifications. So you click that subscribe and bell button at the bottom of this video. Other than that, I hope that you have a great day further, and we will chat again soon. Cheers.